Get your reactions ready. The live portion of the show will begin in just a moment.
That funk extended. Marcel puts a good swing on this to center. And it's 3-0 Atlanta.
Stop it. Get some help.
Today is Tuesday, August 15th. The Yankees were in hot Atlanta, and they were trying to avoid falling back to 500 on the season. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Postgame show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. To hell with it.
We're going to keep it short tonight. I'm a bit under the weather, so not sure if I'm going to do a show tomorrow. Nothing to do with the Yankees playing, just not feeling good. I don't know what we were expecting tonight. Luis Severino was only pitching because the rest of the rotation is either in the intensive care unit or in rehab. Yankees have fallen back to 500 on the season. If you're new to baseball and you don't really know what 500 means, it means that their percentage is 50-50. They've won as many games as they've lost. Last time that the Yankees were 500 this late into the season was September 6th, 1995. Number one movie in America that day was Apollo 13. Number one song was Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio. Google hadn't been invented yet. That was the day that Cal Ripken broke Lou Gehrig's consecutive game streak. So it's been a while. Tupac was alive. There's a lot of things that winning 1 out of every 2 times is acceptable. The lottery, golf tournaments, coin tosses, marriages. But baseball ain't one of them. Before the game, Aaron Boone also said that Aaron Judge is probably, quote, probably not going to need surgery this offseason. So if past is prologue to how the Yankees handle things, I'll tell you exactly how it's going to go just to save you some time and frustration and heartache. He won't get the surgery. He's going to come to camp and still be limping. And then he's going to get the surgery about a week before the end of spring training and be out until August. Sound about right? David Hayes says, this team has become the M's. With a lousy team, they're left with video replays of past glories. Yeah, I didn't really love playing the 96 highlights while we're getting thumped and getting one hit, getting completely dominated yesterday. Wasn't crazy about that. Parks and Young says, please start the Fire Cashman and Boone chants when they come back home. I think they've already started. I've heard them on the broadcast a few times. Brian Cutler says, sit Judge for the rest of the season now? ? It's so bad right now. I don't know. Maybe because I'm just being unrealistic. I see no reason to believe things can go up. Thank you for the dono. I would not be opposed if the Yankees came out tomorrow and said, look, most important thing is that we have Aaron Judge for next year. This year's lost. We're 500. We're going to sit him down. We're going to call up some kids. We're putting Judge on the 60-day IL. We'll have him back next year. Go get whatever kind of surgery you need. Take 6 weeks to recover. And then you know what? It's October, and you have a full offseason to prepare. But my guess is they're not going to do that. Things got off to an ominous start for Luis Severino once again. Leadoff single to Ronald Acuna. Tried to pick him off and threw the ball down the right field line.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
For a minute, though, it looked like he was going to get out of it. Got a pop out and then a dominant strikeout. But then Ozuna clobbered a 3-run home run to give the Braves the lead.
From there on out, things just got worse.
He seemed to put it together a little bit after that. Good second inning, good third inning. Then in the fourth inning, there was an error. That didn't help matters much. Yes, announcers were waxing poetic about the quality of his stuff, and he gave up a 2-run home run. So at that point, it's 5-0. So of the 5 runs that he allowed, 3 of them were earned. But as John Sterling says, that's just bookkeeping. Tough night for Luis Severino.
I'm an average nobody.
His ERA actually went down tonight. 4 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and his ERA dropped to 7.98. That's a sentence you never want to hear if you're a starting pitcher, that your ERA has dropped to 7.98. Also does not help when your offense gets 1 hit, which is what the Yankees got tonight, courtesy of Mr. DJ LeMahieu. Nice job, DJ. Yankees lose 2 in a row to the Atlanta Braves and lose the series.
I'm a loser. Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
I'm going to pay the light bill real quick, and then we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. NYY Recaps is sponsored by Game Time, the fastest growing ticket app in the world. Download the Game Time app to your phone or other smart device, or visit the GameTime.co website. I like it better on the app because you can get a 3D view of your seats. It's pretty cool. All types of events. We say this every night. Not only baseball, but football's coming back soon. Hockey's coming back soon. Soccer, basketball, all that stuff. Comedy, theater, you name it. You can find it on Game Time. Use the code NYY Recaps for $20 off your first purchase. Game Time. Lowest price on last-minute tickets guaranteed. Thomas Latimer says, are we getting swept? I think so, unfortunately, and that's going to put us below 500. Working in a Vlogs says, I feel bad for Boone. Yes, I don't like Boone with his bullpen decisions, but the roster construction for Cashman is not good. I don't know what to do, but you're very right, Derek. Much better to give the chance to the kids. I appreciate that. I think it would at least be fun to see some kids come up and try to prove themselves, try to play spoiler. At this point in the season, and this is something that as Yankees fans, we haven't had to deal with very often, thankfully, over the last 30 years. But now the Yankees' main goal is, 1, statistical achievements. Guys like Aaron Judge, if he stays in there, getting to 30 home runs. Maybe Volpe getting up to 230, something like that. Maybe getting to 20 home runs. And being a spoiler. You play some playoff teams, and I don't think they have many games left against playoff teams. I actually think it's I don't even know the schedule, but I think it's pretty weak. They play a lot of, below 500 teams. So, look, not a lot left to play for. Willie Hoop says, Yankees are disgraceful, barely a AAA effort. Frankie Baseball says, who killed Tupac? Frankie's going to feed us some non-baseball related topics again tonight. Always can count on Frankie for that. Round of applause for Frankie. I don't know who killed Tupac. I'm not. Well, there was some guy, I think his name was Keith D, that I guess got his house raided like a month ago because they had, they reopened the investigation and he's a suspect or whatever. And I heard some interview where he said that his nephew, Orlando Anderson, was the guy who shot Tupac. Frankie also says, does Boone have photos of Cashman? And does Cashman have photos of Hal? I don't know. Let's see here. Brian Cutler says, when are we going to actually start punishing players for bad performance? I don't think that's something that the Yankees do. I don't think they punish guys for bad performance. Kay had a good point on his show the other day that whatever Boone's doing, they're not responding to. Whether it's the kid gloves thing where you're being, super friendly and all that, or whether behind the scene he's, chewing them out once in a while. Maybe you need to publicly embarrass them. That was a point that he made. I was surprised to hear him make it. Victor Epic Warrior says, Gleyber Torres, 17 double plays this year. Y'all want to extend him. And then a little skull emoji for those of you listening.
Oh my gosh. Does that suck?
Frankie says, is this torture? And he also says, Messi or Ronaldo? I don't know anything about soccer. I can't get next to soccer. Although I do like the Welcome to Wrexham show. If you have, I believe it's Amazon Prime. I could be wrong. It might be Hulu. There's Ryan Reynolds and I forget the other guy's name from the Always Sunny in Philadelphia show. They bought a soccer team called Wrexham, and they're trying to turn it into like, you know, a championship caliber club. And if you like sports, which I'm guessing if you watch this podcast, you do, it's a pretty fun little reality show because it follows behind the scenes of, you know, them trying to put together this soccer team. You learn about the players' families. It's pretty interesting. William says, do you see Rodon getting any better? I think he will. I think it's a mechanical thing, you know, but look, I'm not going to lie. I don't feel great about it. Like, if I had to bet on it, I wouldn't bet very much. Lou Rom says, we've been a 500 team since June 19th, 2022. That's extremely specific.
A what?
I guess it's math. It should be specific. Let's see here. Richie says, Yankees and Sox in a death match for the cellar. And Wompbag Doodle says, Derek, you don't have to watch this team. I worry about your own psyche. My psyche's fine. My immune system, not fine, though. My wife's a teacher, and school just got back into session. And when that happens, I always get like a variety of new germs in the house, and it always knocks me out for a day or two. And yeah, so I'm going to, like, last night was one of those nights where I didn't want to take NyQuil because you're going to feel like shit if you take NyQuil. Like, on the back of the box, it says, may cause drowsiness. It should say, don't make plans tomorrow. And so I waited till like 1 or 2 in the morning to have my NyQuil, and then I felt like garbage all day. No fun. But somebody commented last night that I make it feel like it's a chore to watch this game. Or watch the Yankees. It's not a chore. I mean, I love watching the games. It's a chore to say the same things every night when they keep losing in pathetic fashion. That's the chore. Frankie says, Howe is only 53.
What?
No way. He's 65 if he's a day. Matt Sheridan says, thoughts on Oppenheimer? I've given him before. I've seen it twice. I loved it. I liked it even better the second time because I picked up on more things. The dialogue is really fast, and there's not a lot of breaks. There's not a lot of mental breaks, not a lot of bathroom breaks, and so it's tough to hang in there. Honestly, if you're on the fence about seeing it, wait until it comes out on streaming and watch it with subtitles. That would be, I think, the best way to consume it, other than seeing it on IMAX if you're into that type of thing. But really, it's just a lot of dialogue and one explosion. But it's an interesting and compelling story. Frankie says, K or Sterling? That depends. Are we talking about 96 John Sterling, or are we talking about recent vintage Sterling? Recent Sterling is difficult because he's clearly not at his best anymore. But in 96, 95, like in those times, there was nobody better. He was awesome. I mean, I'm sure there was. It's subjective who's better, but in my opinion, nobody I'd rather listen to. Frankie says, did LBJ know about Kennedy? Well, LBJ was Kennedy's vice president, so I assume he knew about him. William says, thank God I have the Jets. I'm still debating whether or not I want to watch the Jets this year. I do find them interesting. Last year I watched a little bit of the Giants. This year I'm going to watch a little bit of the Jets, I think. Dolphins made a surprising resurgence last year. They were my team growing up. My dad's a big Raiders fan. I like to check in on the Raiders every once in a while. I got a brother who's a Seahawks fan, another brother who's a Steelers fan. I like to kind of keep up with those teams. Frankie says, Seinfeld, Friends, or Cheers? Well, this is the easiest question ever because Seinfeld is probably the greatest all-time sitcom. Friends was, I think, pretty funny. And Cheers, I never really got into. I watched like 4 episodes of Cheers. And then Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. Breaking Bad. Although, it's almost like you can't have one without the other. Watching all the way through Better Call Saul gives you new perspective on Breaking Bad. Tommy Higgs says, thoughts on the Wander Franco situation. So the other day when somebody mentioned it, they said, had you heard about it? And I didn't know. All I saw was that he was benched. Now, it sounds pretty bad. As a public person, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble talking about somebody's legal issues without having all the facts. So as a unqualified, non-legal expert, I'm just going to say I hope it isn't true. 2 reasons. 1, I don't want it to have happened. And 2, I want to keep watching him play. He's a good player. But if it did happen, he's got to not be around anymore. Lock him up. Jeffrey Cole says, I've watched the likes of Mano, Maris, Jeter, and Mo, but watching this team makes me physically ill. Tommy says, did you get to play pickleball yet? No, I'll probably try it out in the fall. Right now with the schedule, I'm working foul territory during the days, and in the evenings I got Yankee games most of the time, and then on the rare night off, I like to spend it with my wife or just resting. And so when the season's over, I'll probably do something more active. This time of year, I really don't have the energy for anything. But, and then Devon Nolan says, everybody loves Raymond or Frazier. I've got a friend who hates Ray Romano irrationally. It's weird. He just cannot physically stand him. He recoils. And for that reason, I'm going to go with whatever the other one was you said. Frazier. I've only seen it a little bit, but I like the dog. Let's see here. Couple more. Let's see here. Frankie Baseball says, Yankees are the first team in Major League Baseball history to have 1 hit or fewer while hitting into at least 4 double plays in one game. Hey, nice job, guys. All right, let's wrap this up.
Game over, man. It's game over.
I gotta get out of here.
Got that NyQuil calling my name. Michael V says, Brittany or Christina? Back in the day, I'd have to say Christina. But nowadays that Brittany's a little crazy, I like a little crazy. So I'd have to go with Brittany. Frankie says, NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? Oh man, I gotta say, the Backstreet Boys had some catchy jams, and my wife was a Backstreet Boys fan, so she occasionally listens to them too. Frankie says, Michael Jackson or Prince? I was an MJ guy. Another thing where it's like, how do you feel about this guy knowing all the things that have come out about him? His music was incredible, but he was just such a weirdo and a sicko. So I have trouble enjoying his music. But I do like occasionally a good Prince tune as well. Could you be? Anyway, Tommy says, favorite fast food restaurant would have to be Burger King. I like the onion rings. All right, guys, we're going to call it a night. Yankees get 1 hit. They're awful. I'll see them. Well, might see it tomorrow. We'll see how I'm feeling. I might have to get that 5-hour energy going, but I'm going to try and sleep it off tonight and see how we're doing in the AM. I'll see you next time.
Ball game over.
Most impressive.